We'll first go into the Roblox Studio templates and select one called Base Play, then enter the game design interface of Roblox Studio. You can see in the middle there's something called a spawn point. I'm sure everyone is already familiar with this. Every time the game starts, you'll appear here. Or if, unfortunately, you die in the game and respawn, you'll also show up at this spawn point. So the main thing I want to introduce to you are the 5 most basic keys. These are the ones we use all the time when designing Roblox games. The first one is called Select, the second is Move, the third is Scale, the fourth is Rotate, and the fifth is called Transform. So, to show you how to use them, first let's select a part here. Once you've selected a part, you'll see this block appear on the spawn point. So if we want to move this part, how can we do that? We can use the Move function for this. When you click Move, you'll see that the block will show up with 3 arrows in different colors. Actually, these represent the 3 different dimensions in what we call a 3D world. So, for example, if you want to move it left or right, or in what we call the blue axis direction, you can just click the blue arrow. Use your mouse to left click on the blue arrow, and you'll see that the block will move along this axis. If we want to move along the red axis, just hold down the red arrow, and it will move along the red axis. And finally, if you want to move up and down along the green axis, you just move it up and down like this. Isn't that simple? This way we can control the block to move around in this 3D world. Don't underestimate how simple this action is, because later on, when you're designing Roblox games, we'll be using this function of moving in 3D space a lot. We usually refer to it with the 3 English letters X, Y, and Z. Alright, so let's say I want to make this part a bit bigger because it's too small. In that case, we can use a button called Scale. After you click Scale, you'll see 3 colored spheres appear. For example, if I want to make it taller, I just hold the green one and pull it upward, and it'll get bigger. If I want to scale it horizontally, I just press the blue one, and it will scale like this. If I want to make it wider at this position, I press the red one, and then it becomes a cube, right? It pops out in 3D. Very simple. But maybe when you use these 3 different dimension controls for the first time, it might feel a bit awkward. So just practice more, use your mouse to control how to make it bigger or smaller. Usually, when I teach a lot of students, I start by having them practice with these different buttons. Alright, if I want to rotate this block, how can I do that? So we have a third button, which we call Rotate, for a rotation. When you press Rotate, you'll also see 3 different colored rotation circles appear here. For example, you can probably guess that when I hold down the red one, it'll calculate the angle in degrees. You'll see a number, right? 45, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. These are actually degrees, so it will rotate accordingly. If I press the blue one, it will rotate like this, right? If I hold down the green one, it'll rotate like this. It's very simple. Alright, when you combine what we just did with Move, Scale, and Rotate, you can actually create a lot of different actions already. But you might say, it's really inconvenient to have to walk over here and press the buttons every time. Actually, we have something called shortcut keys. You might notice that it says 2, 3, 4, 5 up there. What that means is, you just need to press the 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 keys on your keyboard. So for example, after you block, if you press 3, 4, 4, 5, or 1, it will automatically be the same as if you press the buttons up here. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you get used to these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shortcut keys, it'll be much easier for you to control it in the future. Alright, the last one is Transform, which is key number 5. For example, right now, I've selected this block. You see, after we choose Transform, a bunch of boxes appear below. So what are those? Actually, with Transform, you can try holding down the red one, and you'll see that it kind of rotates, right? If you use the green one, it rotates like this, and the blue one rotates like that. As for the Transform function, I'll explain its real use in more detail in another lesson later, because it can actually do things we normally can't do. For example, when you go into this, say the white key, if you hold and drag it, it will start to stretch it out. And then, for example, if you press the black one, it'll stretch out in this direction, and the white one here will also stretch out. Actually, the main function of transform is that we can use it to change the shape of a regular block in different ways, and this is a relatively more complex part. So today, the main thing I want to talk to you about is those 4 keys up there. As long as you get familiar with these 4 keys, you can basically perform a lot of different actions in this 3D space. For example, you can simply select it, switch back to the regular select tool, and after selecting it, if you want to change its color, it's very easy. You just press yellow. Then I usually press move, and here press yellow again, and it will change its color. You can even change it to different materials. For instance, if you want to turn it into something like this, it's very easy for us to change its properties. But remember, the main goal of this lesson is to make sure you understand these 4 most basic buttons and learn how to zoom in and zoom out in this 3D space so that you can freely move the 3D objects you want to move. See you in the next lesson.